You have probably heard that carrots are great for your eyes. Packed with beta-carotene and generally one of the most reliable vegetables you can put on your plate. And all of that is true. But there is a significant gap between how much nutrition a carrot contains on paper and how much your body actually absorbs when you eat it. That gap is the subject of today's video. Because depending on how you prepare your carrots, you could be absorbing a fraction of the beta-carotene they contain, while simultaneously losing much of their vitamin C before it ever reaches your bloodstream. The good news is that two simple additions, oil and an acid like vinegar or lemon juice, can change that picture dramatically. Let us start with beta-carotene because that is the nutrient most people associate with carrots. Beta-carotene is a carotenoid, the compound responsible for the carrot's deep orange color. In the body, it converts into vitamin A, which is essential for vision, immune function, skin health, and cell development. A single medium carrot contains enough beta-carotene to meet a substantial portion of an adult's daily vitamin A needs. On paper, that looks impressive. Here is the problem. Beta-carotene is fat-soluble. Like vitamins A, D, E, and K, it requires dietary fat to be absorbed properly. When beta-carotene reaches the small intestine, it needs to be incorporated into tiny fat droplets, called micelles, before it can pass through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream. Without fat present, micelle formation is severely limited, and a large proportion of the beta-carotene passes through the digestive system and is excreted rather than absorbed. This has been confirmed in multiple studies, comparing beta-carotene absorption from carrots eaten with and without fat. The results consistently show meaningful improvement in absorption when fat is present. Importantly, the amount of fat required is modest. Approximately 3 to 5 grams of fat, roughly equivalent to 1 teaspoon of olive oil, is sufficient to produce a significant benefit. You do not need to drench your carrots in oil. A small amount makes a real difference. Unsaturated fats such as olive oil, avocado oil, and sesame oil are good choices because they support cardiovascular health. Alongside their role in nutrient absorption, cooking also matters for beta-carotene. Raw carrot cells have rigid cell walls that physically trap beta-carotene inside the cells. When you eat a raw carrot, digestion can only break down those walls so much. Applying heat softens and disrupts the cell wall structure, releasing more beta-carotene and making it more accessible during digestion. This is why cooked carrots consistently show higher beta-carotene bioavailability than raw carrots in research studies. Cutting carrots into smaller pieces before cooking increases the surface area available for this process. Sautéing in oil is particularly effective because heat and fat act together, releasing beta-carotene from cells while providing the fat needed for absorption right at the point of release. Now let us turn to the second part of today's story, which is less commonly known and perhaps more surprising. Carrots contain vitamin C. They are not the highest source, but they do provide a meaningful amount. What most people do not know is that carrots also contain an enzyme called ascorbase, or ascorbic acid oxidase, that actively destroys vitamin C. This enzyme exists inside the carrot cells, in a separate compartment from the vitamin C. As long as the carrot is intact, there is no problem. But the moment you cut, grate, or juice a carrot, you rupture those cell walls, and the enzyme comes into contact with the vitamin C. It begins converting ascorbic acid into its oxidized form, dehydroascorbic acid. That oxidized form has some residual vitamin C activity, but it can continue to degrade further into compounds that have no vitamin C function at all. The longer the window between cutting or juicing and consuming, the greater the loss. This is why freshly cut carrot loses vitamin C over time, and why carrot juice that sits in the refrigerator for hours is nutritionally different from carrot juice consumed immediately. If you prepare carrot sticks in advance and store them for later, the vitamin C content is declining the entire time. The practical solution involves two strategies. The first is acid. Ascorbase, like most enzymes, is highly pH sensitive. It functions best at a near-neutral pH of around 5 to 7. When the environment becomes more acidic, the enzyme's structure changes and its activity is suppressed. Adding vinegar or lemon juice to freshly cut carrots creates that acidic environment, quickly, substantially slowing the enzyme's destruction of vitamin C. This is not just a culinary tradition. It is chemistry that happens to align with traditional food preparation practices across many cultures. The second strategy is heat. Ascorbase is a protein-based enzyme, and like all enzymes, it denatures and loses function when exposed to sufficient heat. Temperatures above approximately 70 degrees Celsius begin to inactivate it, and it is fully inactivated above boiling point. So cooking carrots eliminates the ascorbase problem entirely. However, vitamin C itself is also heat sensitive and begins to degrade with prolonged cooking at high temperatures. The practical implication is that brief high-heat cooking, such as a quick stir-fry, is better for preserving vitamin C than long, slow cooking, and using acid in raw preparations is the best approach when you want to preserve both ascorbase inhibition and intact vitamin C. Cucumbers and zucchini also contain ascorbase. This is the scientific basis for the long-standing advice in some nutritional traditions against combining cucumber and carrot in blended juice. When you blend cucumber with vitamin C-rich vegetables, the ascorbase from the cucumber is released along with everything else, and can act on the vitamin C from other ingredients. Again, cooking or acidifying the preparation addresses this concern. Combining sliced cucumber and carrot in a salad, dressed with vinegar or lemon juice, does not present the same risk as blending them together without any acid present. Putting these principles together, let us evaluate some common ways people eat carrots. Raw carrot sticks eaten plain are a popular snack. The bite of a whole carrot does rupture some cells and activates some ascorbase, but less than cutting or grating does. However, with no fat present, beta-carotene absorption is low. This is not a reason to stop eating raw carrots as a snack, but pairing them with a dip that contains fat, such as hummus, guacamole, or a yogurt-based dip, improves beta-carotene absorption meaningfully. Carrot juice made fresh and consumed immediately has less ascorbase damage than juice that sits for an hour. But without fat, beta-carotene absorption is still limited. Drinking carrot juice alongside a meal that contains fat, or blending it with a small amount of avocado or a nut butter, addresses this. Adding a squeeze of lemon juice to freshly made carrot juice inhibits ascorbase and protects vitamin C, while also providing additional vitamin C of its own. Carrots grated raw into a salad and dressed immediately with vinegar and olive oil is actually one of the nutritionally strongest options. The vinegar acidifies the preparation immediately, inhibiting ascorbase. The olive oil provides fat for beta-carotene absorption. The preparation time is short, limiting vitamin C loss. This combination, vinegar plus oil on raw, grated carrot, is precisely what you find in classic carrot salad. Preparations from Korean banchan to French carrot ripé, and the nutritional logic behind it is sound. Carrots sautéed in oil benefit from both heat, inactivating ascorbase, and fat, improving beta-carotene absorption. Vitamin C will be partially lost due to heat, but the beta-carotene picture is excellent. This is a good preparation when beta-carotene and lutein absorption are the primary goals. Carrots added to soups and stews with other ingredients benefit from heat, inactivating ascorbase, and from the fats present in the broth or other ingredients, supporting beta-carotene absorption. The vitamin C will largely be lost to heat in a long-cooked soup, but the carotenoid benefits are well supported. There are several practical guidelines worth building into your carrot habits. First, always pair carrots with some source of fat. This does not need to be much. A teaspoon of olive oil in a dressing, a tablespoon of sesame oil in a stir-fry, or the natural fat in hummus or avocado, is sufficient to meaningfully raise beta-carotene absorption, compared to eating carrots completely fat-free. Second, when eating carrots raw, apply an acid quickly after cutting. This is as simple as squeezing lemon over grated carrot before it sits on the counter, or using a vinegar-based dressing that reaches the cut surfaces within a few minutes of preparation. The sooner the acid contacts the cut surfaces, the more vitamin C is protected. Third, avoid preparing large batches of cut raw carrots far in advance. If you want to preserve vitamin C, The enzyme is active at refrigerator temperatures, just more slowly. Cutting carrots shortly before eating preserves more vitamin C than cutting them hours or a day ahead. Fourth, do not discard the cooking liquid when you boil or stew carrots. Water-soluble compounds including polyphenols leach into the liquid during cooking. Using that liquid as a base for sauces, soups, or even drinking it recovers nutrients that would otherwise be discarded. Fifth, do not peel carrots unless necessary. The layer just beneath the peel is concentrated in beta-carotene and other nutrients. Scrubbing well under running water, or using a vegetable brush, removes surface contamination without discarding the nutritious outer layer. Organic carrots are particularly worth eating unpeeled. The broader principle illustrated by today's discussion applies well beyond carrots. Fat-soluble nutrients, including carotenoids in tomatoes, spinach, and peppers, are all poorly absorbed without dietary fat present. The advice to use fat-free dressings on vegetable salads to save calories is nutritionally counterproductive for the absorption of these compounds. A small amount of healthy fat in a dressing dramatically improves the nutritional return from the salad. Similarly, the interplay between enzymes within plant foods and the nutrients those same foods contain is a recurring theme in nutritional science. Broccoli has its own enzyme interactions involving glucosinolates. Garlic has all-in and allinase. In each case, how you prepare the food determines which compounds are active and available when you eat it. Understanding these mechanisms does not require memorizing biochemistry. It requires a shift in how you think about food preparation. Preparation is not just about flavor and texture. It is an active part of how much nutrition you extract from what you eat. The simple habit of adding a little oil and a splash of vinegar or lemon to your carrots is one of the most practical applications of this principle, and it costs nothing extra in terms of time or money. Take care of the fundamentals. Vary your vegetables, cook some and eat some raw, use healthy fats with fat-soluble nutrients, and use acid in raw preparations with vegetables that contain ascorbase. These small, consistent habits compound over time into a genuinely more nutritious diet. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.